Good morning, everyone. My name is Jennifer Hiltwine, and I'm the Grants Manager here at CIT. And I am really excited to finally be able to announce and talk to everyone today about the inaugural Commonwealth Commercialization Fund solicitation. So before we jump in, I'll take just a moment to introduce a few colleagues who have joined me today. We have Heather Ingen and Jeanette Townsend and Jean Plymale. And we are all here to support you during the application process or throughout the year. And it's likely you'll hear from any one of us as you continue to move forward. So we're looking forward to working with you for FY21 and maybe beyond. So there's a few housekeeping items. You probably noticed when you joined, you were muted. Please go ahead and stay on mute until questions are invited later in the session. And we've had several of these briefings now, gone through a number of them and learned a lot from the questions and comments that the participants in the general community have brought up. So today is as much about presenting information to you as addressing questions that you may have. Don't hesitate to take advantage of this opportunity to help clarify what may not make sense to you. In terms of what we'll cover during the session, you can expect to learn more about the CCF program, particularly this FY21 round and its eligibility criteria, how CCF funds can be used, the executive summary and application components, matching funds, and the resources available to you beyond this briefing. At any time throughout the session, you can ask questions. Just go ahead and open up that chat feature, send your message to the CCF team. This should be the only option for everyone. And you'll either get a response back via chat or we'll address it at the end of the prepared remarks. The slide deck and a recording of the prepared remarks are actually already posted on the CCF FY21 resources page. So you are welcome to pull those up and revisit as often as you'd like. And with that, we'll go ahead and get started. So what is the Commonwealth Commercialization Fund? Well, CCF was established on July 1st, 2020, sunsetting the CRCF program, which was previously managed by my team at CIT, and the VRIF program, which was previously under Chev's direction. However, CIT continues to support both award portfolios as part of CCF. With a similar mission, the goal of CCF is to drive economic growth in Virginia, such as through company and job creation, by funding high potential, innovative technology projects. The FY21 round supports this mission by targeting young, high growth technology companies in Virginia who have already seen traction through revenue generation, investment, grants, and contracts. The round was intentionally and thoughtfully developed in consultation with the administration, the Advisory Council on Commercialization, and the Virginia Innovation Partnership Authority Board. Up to $7 million is available, and companies are permitted to submit one application for up to $100,000. Funds can go towards a company's greatest needs, such as technology continuing down the commercialization pathway and towards market entry. The CCF request must be matched one-to-one. The application process is two-part. Any qualified company can submit an executive summary, and then those highest scoring projects will be invited to submit an application. Executive summaries and applications will go through a multifaceted review that includes experts with both investment and subject matter focuses, along with compliance reviews conducted by CIT. There is no predetermined number or dollar value of awards by industry or by any other criteria. Although only a subset of the private sector is eligible for funding in FY21, we envision that CCF support will expand in FY22. Projects this round must align with one or more of 7 industry sectors: agricultural and environmental technologies, autonomous systems, clean energy, cybersecurity, data science and analytics, life and health sciences, and space and satellites. These industry sectors are broad in nature and drawn from the October 2019 Commonwealth Research and Technology Strategic Roadmap. The roadmap will provide examples of technologies within each industry, though they are just that, examples. Applicants who believe their technology is a fit will have the opportunity and responsibility to make a case within their submission. If after reviewing the materials, you still have questions about whether your technology aligns with one of the eligible industry sectors this round, please email us at ccf@cit.org. There are 3 sectors not described in the roadmap: clean energy, cybersecurity, and data science and analytics. However, these are defined in the FAQs. In addition to projects aligning with one of the aforementioned tech sectors, eligible businesses must be for-profit companies headquartered in and with an express desire to grow the business in Virginia, be founded or otherwise legally formed on or after January 1st, 2016, and a valid tax ID number is required within your executive summary. Virginia must also be the place of business for the CEO, CCF project manager, and the majority of the company's other senior executives and staff. For the purpose of simplicity, we'll consider this the first eligibility gate. However, it's important to explicitly call out that this and the criteria that follow are firm, and exceptions to eligibility will not be made this round. Companies who meet the general criteria can then categorize where the technology that they'll be proposing to CCF falls. Specific additional criteria is set and must be met by companies as their final gate of eligibility. For technologies that do not require FDA approval, companies must have received between $500,000 and $1 million in combined capital investment, contracts, and/or grant funding for the product or service that CCF would support between July 1st, 2019 and December 31st, 2020, and/or generated $100,000 to $1 million in revenue for the CCF supported product or service during that same period. Companies must also have had a minimal viable product available by December 1st, 2020. In the guidelines and other materials, these are referred to as Category 1 technologies. For technologies that require FDA new drug application or biologics license application, companies must have received at least $1 million in combined outside grants, revenue, and/or capital investment between July 1st, 2019 and December 31st, 2020. These are referred to as Category 2 technologies. For technologies that require FDA pre-market approval, companies must have received at least $500,000 in combined outside grants, contracts, and/or capital investment for the technology between July 1st, 2019 and December 31st, 2020. For technologies that require 510(k) clearance, companies must have received at least $500,000 in combined outside grants, contracts, and/or capital investment for the technology between July 1st, 2019 and December 31st, 2020, and have either received 510(k) clearance or submitted their 510(k) application. The CCF award is contingent upon receiving 510(k) clearance. And lastly, for technologies that are on the de novo pathway, companies must have received at least $500,000 in combined outside grants, contracts, and/or capital investment for the technology between July 1st, 2019 and December 31st, 2020, had their de novo request granted, submitted the de novo request, or have had a successful Q submission meeting with the FDA by December 31st, 2020. Again, the CCF award is contingent upon the de novo request being granted. Collectively, PMA, 510(k), and de novo technologies are considered Category 3 in the guidelines and other materials. As previously mentioned, CCF funds can be used to support activities that are needed to advance a technology, and applicants will have the ability to identify and discuss those needs within their executive summary and application. Needs can include, but are not limited to, technology development, pilots, market research, marketing, IP protection, talent acquisition, and more. Up to 30% of the CCF request may go to support indirect costs. However, this is the only budget category for which CCF requests are capped. Those previously familiar with CRCF will recognize this shift. There is no longer a cap on consultants and subcontractors or market validation. We are envisioning that most CCF projects will be about 6 to 12 months, though shorter or longer periods of performance are acceptable. Again, it's about what applicants need. Submitting an executive summary is the first step in the application process. It gives applicants an opportunity to present a high-level overview of their business opportunity, technology, and company. Specifically, applicants will respond to questions related to the problem and market opportunity, their proposed solution, information about their company and management team, impact of the technology that's envisioned, economic and beyond, as well as anything else they feel might be important for reviewers to know. Following the submission deadline, executive summaries will first be reviewed by CIT for compliance, and then by a group comprised of individuals with experience vetting companies. This group will score each executive summary from highly promising to limited promise or not a fit for CCF and provide comments. This information will determine whether an application will be invited. Evaluation criteria is outlined in the guidelines. So, how do you go about submitting your executive summary? Access to the online portal is available from the CCF FY21 page on CIT's website. I'll share that URL in just a few slides. The submission process, both for the executive summary and the subsequent application, is entirely online. All information will be keyed into an online form, but separate attachments will not need to be created and uploaded. Responses within the executive summary are capped, and the character maximums include punctuation and spaces. The guidelines will identify these caps, as will an example of the executive summary, which can be accessed from the FY21 resources page. Again, I'll put up a link for you in just a few moments. We recognize, though, that some people may wish to develop their executive summary responses in a separate document and copy and paste content into the online form. This is perfectly acceptable. In fact, as the guidelines also indicate, if the responses to each question were combined, the resulting document would total about 2.5 pages, using the formula that 3,000 characters is approximately one single-space page. You're also welcome to free type your response into the online form. Again, it's totally up to you. Following the February 8th deadline, all executive summaries will be reviewed, and then we plan to notify applicants of their status around March 15th. Decisions on executive summaries and subsequently applications are final. For those applicants whose executive summaries score the highest and who are invited to submit an application, that application will both build upon the content already shared in the executive summary and provide new information, allowing applicants to continue making a case for funding. An application is comprised of a proposal, budget, and appendix, along with an online form that captures administrative information. The proposal, budget, and appendix will need to be prepared separately and uploaded into the online form, and both the proposal and budget have required templates. These will be made available to applicants around the time invitations are issued. The guidelines lay out content for the proposal, and applicants are strongly encouraged to organize and address the topics as presented, as they tie directly to the application evaluation criteria. Once applications are submitted, they'll also go through a multi-step review process. First, CIT will evaluate for compliance, and then subject matter experts will evaluate the technology, its feasibility, commercialization potential, market opportunity, and impact. Evaluation criteria is again included within the guidelines. For projects where the investment committee from the executive summary review and the SMEs from the application review are in agreement that funding is merited, projects will advance to review and final approval from the VIPA president on behalf of its board. Projects where the evaluators at different stages are not in sync will undergo an additional external assessment. CIT plans to notify applicants of their status between end May and mid-June, with an emphasis on getting decisions communicated and funds deployed as quickly as possible. Payment for awarded projects will be deployed this fiscal year. Next, let's talk about that one-to-one match. A one-to-one match to the CCF requested funds is a mandatory element of all CCF applications and is fulfilled this year in two parts. First, simply by virtue of an applicant's eligibility for the round, 50% of the match is automatically fulfilled. You don't have to do or provide a thing. This is due to the revenue, capital investment, contracts, and/or grant monies that the applicant has received between July 1st, 2019 and December 31st, 2020. The second 50% of the match must come directly from the applicant or its partners to support the project's direct costs during its period of performance. This part of the match demonstrates that the applicant has skin in the game. That is, they are personally invested in the success of the proposed project. So what are some examples of matching funds? The applicant provided match can be cash or in kind and come from sources such as salary and fringe from the project manager, student workers, and others involved in the project, waived fees for services performed by project partners, such as from a consultant or sub who may not charge for manufacturing time, materials and/or supplies acquired for the project, time on equipment for work directly tied to the project, and when it's safe again, travel directly associated with the project and tied to its success. On the flip side, the applicant provided match cannot come from funds expended prior to or after the CCF project's period of performance, lines of credit, discounts on equipment and/or supplies, and cannot be sourced from existing grants or contracts, even if there may be unexpended funds available during the project's period of performance. To reiterate what I said just a few moments ago, the applicant provided 50% match shows that the company has a stake in the results. The CCF round will take place over a 6-month period from January, when the RFP was announced, through June, the latest when awards may be announced. The next important date for you to be attentive to is Monday, February 8th at noon, when all executive summaries are due. Late submissions are not accepted. For those invited to submit an application, they are due by noon on Wednesday, April 14th. As promised, here's how you can access FY21 information and materials online. In addition to this briefing, a number of resources are and will continue to be available. They will be housed on the FY21 resources page identified here, including, again, a recording of these prepared remarks and the slide deck. The main solicitation page, also noted here, will be your access point to those ever-important guidelines and to the online portal to submit your executive summary and application. Applicants are strongly encouraged to take advantage of resources when preparing their submission materials. If the available resources don't address your specific question, you can email the CCF team at ccf@cit.org. Additionally, if you're not already, please be sure to add yourself to the CCF listserv to receive our latest announcements. This can be important for those who may not be eligible for this round, because as I mentioned at the start of my remarks, we are anticipating expanding opportunities in FY22 and don't want anyone to miss out on those opportunities. Thank you all for attending today's session.